Hey guys, thanks for joining Learn to Play. I'm back here with Steamforged again. We're going to be taking a look at a demo of their brand new game, Guild Ball. It's really exciting and doing very well at this convention. So I have a professional demoer here. We're going to go through the game. Can you tell me your name?
My name is Jason Tate. I go by Tulsi on the forums.
Awesome.
See me around quite a bit.
Cool. And how did you get into Guild Ball?
I started because a gentleman named Jamie Perkins said, hey, have you ever played this game Guild Ball? So him and I used to talk on the forums quite a bit. And I said, no, I haven't seen it. Whatever. Mm-hmm. So he sent me the rules because you can download the rules for free online.
Very nice.
You can download paper dolls to be able to play the game, to try out the factions that you want. So they give you everything for free, but then they sell models for you to really play the game.
Of course, because we all are addicted to models. You got to have the models.
You have to have the stuff.
That is very nice that you give the people the opportunity to try it out and see what they like about it, though. That's
Once
awesome.
You try it, it's very, very addictive. It scratches a great skirmish itch, but with a lot of tactics.
Great. So let's go ahead and jump right into the game.
All right. We're going to start with the anatomy of a card. Your first stat that you really need to look at is the move stat. All models have two different move stats. So Shark here, who's the captain of the fishermen, has a 5-7 move stat. The first one is a jog. So what that means is he can choose 5 inches and move. This is a free ability that all models can do. The second one is a 7, and what this is a sprint. If Shark had influence, which is one of the currencies of the game, he could spend 1 influence to be able to move 7 inches, and that's a sprint. And in this game, if you run, you're not done, like some of the other systems that are out there. So you can sprint, you can make attacks, then move, make more attacks. You could move, then attack. There's all sorts of different stuff that you can do with this, but you only get 1 move throughout the whole thing. So once you move, that is your movement. Now speaking of attacks, this is a axe to mouth kind of game. You like to make attacks, you like to hit people. So you look at the attack, which is 6, and this is a D6 system. So what this means is, if Shark was attacking the Butcher's Captain Ox, you would roll 6 dice. You have a target number, which is Ox's defense, so it's 3+. So we would roll our 6 dice, look for all the 3s, and so we had 2 net successes. Then we have to compare armor. What armor does is, however many times that you hit, you take 1 die away. So it's a very powerful stat, and there's lots of guilds like the Masons Guild that have high armor, so it kind of negates a lot of rules. This is what makes Guild Ball special, is now once you have successes. So we're going to say Shark had 3 net successes against Ox. We look over at his playbook. Now these are some of the old Season 1 cards. They have redone the cards that have the playbooks on the front, so there's a lot less flipping. So we go over here and look at his playbook. For each success that you have, you count up columns. So Shark would count up 3 columns, and look, he gets to choose any one of those 6 results, and it's a one-time thing. So as you go up your playbook, it gives you more options of things that you want to do, and the things get a little bit more and more powerful. So if Shark has 3 successes, he could choose any one of these. What the numbers mean are damage. It's raw output damage that you're putting on somebody. So if he does a 1 or a 2, he could make Ox go from 19 health to 17 health. The less than symbols are dodges. So for every less than symbol, you get to make a 1-inch dodge. So if Shark had hit Ox, he would be allowed to make a 1-inch dodge if he chose that one. Or if he chose this one here, he gets to make 2 1-inch dodges. The greater than symbols are pushes. So if Shark attacks Ox, he can push Ox, which is he is allowed to move Ox any direction he wants to move him. Moving toward, moving away. And if he chose this one, he would get 2 1-inch pushes, so he can manipulate Ox around him to open up better charge lanes to get a little bit more tactics. If you see a tackle, which is a T, a tackle means that if Ox has the ball, Shark attacks him, Shark now has the ball. And the ball is kind of like a roaming scenario. It moves around, and your goal is to get the ball into a goal to score 4 points. And as long as, if you kick the ball into the goal, your team gets 4 points, crowd cheers, everything goes great. Now, there's another way to get victory points, and that is if you take somebody off the pitch. You would get 2 victory points. Certain teams like to take people off the pitch, certain teams like to score. In a normal game, you play 6 models versus 6 models. You have a captain, a mascot, and 4 other models on the board. You play to 12. So that could be 3 goals, that could be 6 takeouts, or a little bit of mixture of both. The very last thing that we need to go over on a playbook result is there's a little guild ball symbol. This guild ball symbol is a special character play that your model gets to do. So if Shark hits Ox, gets 3 results, or 5 results, and chooses to do the guild ball, what this does is he would gut and string Ox. And gut and string is Shark's special ability that gives Ox -2/-2 move and -1 defense. So you would do that early in the turn to set up to get Ox beat down a little bit earlier. The next stat that we really need to look at is a kick stat. Shark has a 4-6 kick. What the 4 means is how many dice Shark get to roll to see if he is going to be able to hit. And the second one is how far he gets to kick. So if Shark has the ball and he wants to pass over to Siren here, he would measure to see if he's within 6 inches. And this is a pre-measured game. So there's nothing hidden, there's no gotchas, it's very hard to fail something because you know where you're standing. So Shark's going to want to pass the ball. He would have to have an influence to pass. He would spend 1 influence, put the ball marker on Siren, and roll to see if he hits. As long as he gets 1 4 or above, just 1, your target number for all passes and kicks is a 4. There's modifiers that can change it, but we get into that a lot later on when you're learning the game. So if he makes a successful pass, he would gain a second type of currency called momentum. And momentum in this game is your crowd getting behind you, your team pumping up. And momentum can be spent to bend the rules a little bit and make your players a little bit better. So if Shark passes, he would gain a momentum. You gain momentum from scoring goals, making passes, taking people out. And if you look at your playbooks, you'll notice that some of them are blue, or your team's color, red for butchers, blue for fish. If you choose that play, your crowd likes it, your team likes it, you would generate a momentum from that. And if you look at the fisherman's cards, they like to dodge, they like to push, they're a little wily. If you look at the butcher's cards, they like to do raw damage. That's what makes them better. So if we go back over, the very last stat that we need to talk about is influence. With influence, the first number is how much influence you generate. So Shark generates 3, and if we look at the other fish cards that are going to be in the game, Angel would generate 2, and Siren would generate 3. What this does at the beginning of your turn, you generate your influence, and it goes into a pool. When we look at the second stat, which for Shark is a 5, that's how much you are allowed to allocate to them at the beginning of the turn. If you notice, all the fish are, Siren is 3-5, Shark is 3-5, and Angel is 2-5. So you could allocate up to 15 influence to them, but you only generate 8. So it kind of makes you make those tactical decisions at the beginning of the game on what you're going to try to do. You can pause. All right, so we're going to start a turn, and the fish have generated 8 influence. We're going to look, and we think Shark wants to have a big turn, so we're going to give him his max of 5. He's the captain, he's the big boy. We'll give Siren over here 2, and we will give Angel 1. The butchers have already allocated. They have 4 for Ox and 2 for Boiler. That means Brisket did not get any. So the only thing Brisket's going to be able to do this turn is jog. And as a player, it could be a tactical advantage. You want to have a big turn with one guy, or as an opponent, you like, well, Brisket's not going to do much this turn. I can kind of ignore her for a little bit. So we'll start the game out with the butchers going first. Normally there's a kickoff sequence and you go through, but for the demo purposes, we're getting some rules down. So Boiler is going to want to spend 1 influence to sprint, and he wants to go 6 inches. Now before we end our movement, we know Boiler is going to want to pass, and he has a pass stat of a 3-6, or 3-4, which means he gets to roll 3 dice, and he can kick it 4 inches. So we are going to measure before we stop, because it's a pre-measured game, so that we make sure that we're going to be able to make this pass. So Boiler is now, the ball token goes with Boiler. The ball token can be anywhere around the model. It's just a marker on who has the ball. So he wants to spend 1 to make a pass. He would put the ball marker where he wants to pass, and you roll your dice. As long as you have 1 success, and on passes and shots, you're just looking for a 4+. 1 on those 3 dice, and we got a 5 and a 4, he would make a successful pass to Ox, which would in turn generate 1 momentum for his teams, because his team's getting behind him. Now we're going to move over to Shark, because it is an alternating activation turn. When your opponent moves, you get to move after them, 1 model at a time. Shark sees an opening, and even though it's his very first activation, he sees his chance to score. In the game, if you ever spend charge, you can charge, which costs 2 influence. What that does is it gets you a sprint and an attack. All models have a melee range, and Shark's melee range is 2 inches. So we can measure where we want to land, check our 7 inches because his sprint is 7, and we want to go to make sure that we are able to attack Boiler. Now with the sprint and the attack, when you declare charge, you get to roll your base attack, which for Shark is 6, and you add 4 more for a charge. So you're getting some dice rolling. So Shark is going to roll and aim for Boiler. So his target number is 4 because Boiler has a defense of 4. We're going to roll, pull out the 4s and above, and Boiler has 1 armor. So we take 1 away. Now we're going to look back at Shark's play card. We count up 4 columns, and we can choose any one of these things. I noticed that I need to get a little bit closer to Ox. So I'm going to choose the double dodge. So I get 2 1-inch dodges. I just want them in a straight line. So I'm going to go 2 inches, and I notice that that will put me within 2 inches of Ox, so he is now in my melee range. I have 3 influence on me. I'm going to spend 1 to make an attack against Ox because he has the ball, and I want the ball. I roll my 6 dice. Ox is a little bit easier to hit. He is only a 3+, so I get my 3s. He does still have 1 armor, so I'll lose 1. And with my 2 hits, Shark is able to choose a tackle. Shark now has the ball. Now, he would be able to shoot at the goal, but there's a problem. Not only does it cost 1 influence to score a goal, it also costs 1 momentum, and we haven't generated any this turn. So going first helps, but you have to generate that momentum in order to shoot that goal. So he's going to make another attack against Ox. He has his 6 dice. We roll. 2 net hits because we have to take away 1 from the armor. He has a momentous dodge on 1. So he is going to dodge 1 inch to the side. Ball comes with him. He generates the much needed momentum. And now he has a straight shot on goal. There is modifiers that can stop you if people are in the way, but we're not going to get into those yet. We'll spend 1 influence and 1 momentum to shoot. Shark has a kick ability of 4. So that means he gets to roll 4 dice. Now, a lot of times there's something in the game called bonus time. If you spend 1 momentum from your stash, you can add an extra die to your roll. The fish do not have any momentum left, but Shark has a special ability on his demo card called Pumped, which allows him to add 1 extra dice. All characters have special abilities that are unique to them that let them kind of do special things that other people can't do. So Shark is going to roll 5 dice. He got his at least the 1 success that he needed, so he would score the goal. Crowd goes wild. You generate a momentum anytime you score a goal, and the fish are now up 4-0 on the Butchers. Anytime you score a goal, your activation ends, so it would go back to the Butcher's turn. The Butchers need to get the ball back in play, so he's going to send it out here. You get 10 inches from your goal to put the ball back in play. So we're going to set the ball here, and it's going to do something called a kick scatter. We line our kick scatter up in the direction that it came from, roll a direction, which is 4, and a distance, which is 6. So even though I wanted the ball there, the ball has now scattered over to here, because the ball likes to bounce. Now we're going to go over to the Butcher's turn. Ox is a little mad. Somebody just scored on his team, so he's out for blood. He is going to use his legendary play. These are very, very powerful abilities that can only be used once per game. A lot of captains have them, and there's a couple players in the game that can have them. So we're going to mark him. It's called Get 'em Lads. What that does is allows him to do 1 extra damage on his playbook results, and any opponent that's near him loses 1 armor. He's going to declare a charge, which normally takes 2. He has to check to make sure he is not engaged, because you are not allowed to charge while you're engaged, and he's just out of engagement. Shark moved a little bit too far. So he is going to charge, which normally costs 2, but his ability is Furious. He gets to charge for free. Very, very powerful. It's like getting a free 2 influence. He comes in and hits. He gets the roll. His attack is 7, but because he charged, he rolls 4 extra, and he's going to want to bonus time this to add 1 more. because he wants to roll 12 dice. He's mad. So we're going to roll the dice. We look at Shark's defense, which is a 4, so we're looking for 4s. We count out all of our 4s, which magically looks like it's 8 hits. Oh my goodness, what a great roll. One of the abilities in this game is called a wrap. If we notice, we hit 8 times, so we'd count up 8 on the playbook, but the playbook only goes to 6. So we can choose any one of those results and then count up 2 more and choose another one of those results. It's a very hard to understand rule until you've done it a couple times. So with the 2, we're going to choose his Guild Ball result, which gives him Butchery. What Butchery is going to do is allow him, anytime he does any more damage after this turn, he adds an extra damage. And then we're going to choose what we call a Momentous 4. But the 4, that means Shark would take 4 damage. But because I have Get 'em Lads up, Shark now takes 5 damage. So we would mark on Shark's card, we start at the bottom and mark up 5 damage bubbles. And I generated momentum due to the fact that it was a momentous play. Ox still has 4 left. He's going to buy 1, which now only goes to 7. We're going to roll, and looks like we hit 3 times. So I count up 3. I'm going to choose the Momentous 2, which will generate a momentum for me, but the 2 goes to a 3 because of Get 'em Lads and a 4 because of Butchery. So we mark 4 more damage on Shark's card. Poor Shark, he's only left with 8. We're going to buy an attack, and we're going to roll. And it is a dice game, so there is all sorts of luck involved. And it looks like even though we rolled a beautiful attack on that first one, we only had 1 hit on this one. So we go only 1 net hit, so we go to the 1. Due to the fact that I put things in play, such as Get 'em Lads and Butchery, it can kind of skew to where if you get a low dice roll, it's not the end of the world. So instead of doing 1, I do 2, 3, which still leaves Shark on 5. We'll buy another attack. Hit. Looks like we have 3 net hits. Count up 3, which goes 2, 3, 4. And we've got poor Shark left on 1. I still have 1 influence left. As long as I get 1 net hit, we have a dead Shark. There's my 1 net hit, dead Shark. What happens when a player is taken off the board? I would have generated momentum from all that. You generate 1 momentum. Crowd loves it when you take somebody off the board. So I'd go to 5. Poor Shark goes away, and he's with the Physicians Guild for a little bit to get an icy sponge. In a game, when you go into your maintenance phase, you can bring them back on the board. So when models get taken off, as long as they're allowed to be given an icy sponge token, they can come back a little bit later. Because if they're off the board, you don't generate the influence because it's hurting your team. So what we're going to look at now is, we'll say the turn is over, all the model activations have been done. We now compare momentum. The butchers have 5, where the fish have 1. So I am plus 4. What that means is when you roll to see who goes first next time, you roll, I would add 4 to my roll, so it's a 9 to a 1. I would choose to go first. Now, everything wipes, play does not reset, and you start all over again. And then there's all sorts of extra things that are in the game that we didn't show you, such as conditions. You set people on fire, poison them. Lots of guilds to choose from, and the Hunters Guilds should be out very, very soon. Thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it.
All right, so as you guys can see, a very exciting game, and we will have a full Learn to Play video up shortly for this. So you guys, if you want to see all the rules in action, then stay tuned. We'll see that. Again, thank you very much for running the demo for us.
Excellent. Thank you. We love it.
See you guys on the net.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Bye.